it's Melanie. Welcome to my channel. Today I have my top 10 book dads, so stay tuned. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. In honor of Father's Day, I decided to do a top 10 book dads video because, well, especially in YA books, there's not a lot of parent involvement. A lot of the times the parents are either non-existent, have died, or a lot of times are evil or bad. There's the neglectful parent or the wicked stepmother or the alcoholic and abusive parent or whatever. So I decided to go and see what I could find that had good dads in the book. Not villainous dads, good dads. The heartwarming, loving kind that we all want as part of our lives. And I have come up with a list. These are by no means any particular order. They're not actually ranked. They're just my top 10 dads that I could think of in books. And I would love to hear some of your top dads in books. So just comment down below any that you might come up with. So all of the books that I'm mentioning here, I do actually have a physical copy of, but some of them are packed away still. So I'll just insert a picture of the book if I don't have the physical copy on hand right now. As you can see, I'm starting to get some of my books out of boxes, but I'm nowhere close to being done. So bear with me for now. Okay, so the first dad that I want to talk about is Hans from The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. And Hans is actually a foster parent, but I think that counts just as much because, well, he loves Liesl like his own daughter. And he teaches her to read. He sells what little he can to get her books, and it's just the greatest gift she's ever gotten. And on top of all of that, he hides a German Jew during the Nazi Holocaust, and he stands up for what he believes in, and he shows Liesl that she should stand up for what she believes in. And he just sets a really good example, and he has such a kind heart. And I think he's a great dad. Okay, the next dad I want to talk about is the dad from Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. He wants so much to be involved in Simon's life, and when he learns that Simon is gay, he is angry with himself over the stupid jokes that he made and wants Simon to know how much he is loved and how much he is supported. And if you haven't read the book or watched the movie, I recommend both. But I can tell you, when I watched the movie first, and this was one of the rare instances where I watched the movie first, and it made me want to read that book. I bawled my eyes out with the dad scene. It was so incredibly touching, and I don't think there was a dry eye in that theater then. Number 3, Where the Stars Still Shine by Trish Doller. And I guess I should have been telling you what the other 2 books are about, but you probably already know. But this book is about a girl who has spent her life on the run with her mother, who kidnapped her and believed that her father didn't want anything to do with her. Well, she learns that she has actually been kidnapped, and her mother gets busted for something, and she gets picked up by her father and brought to live with him and his new family, which now she has 2 little brothers and a stepmother. And her dad, he never gave up looking for her. And when he found her, he gave her the time and the space that she needed to adjust. And he was always there for her. But he also showed her the love and the discipline that he needed to as a father. And it was such an awkward thing for him to go from having just 2 little boys to now having this teenage daughter and figuring out, you know, how things work and where rules should be, and you know, just how to make this family unit work. And he knows how much books mean to her, and he builds her this beautiful bookshelf in this reading area, and it's all just so sweet. And he is yet another really good dad. Now, of course, when talking about good dads, we cannot leave off Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or well, really the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. There are several good dads in this story, but one I want to pay attention particularly is Arthur Weasley. He may be a little bit of a bumbling person, but he is such a kind, loving man, and he would do anything for any of his children, and he would do anything for Harry because he treats Harry like he is his son as well. And Arthur is just, he's a really good dad. And I wanted to add as sort of like a bonus of another really good dad that's not part of this technical series. It's part of the extra book, Harry Potter and a Cursed Child. Draco Malfoy is a really good dad. He is so concerned with Scorpius and wants nothing but for Scorpius to be happy, and really for Scorpius to have the friends and love like Harry had. And I just, Draco is such a good daddy, and he's so worried about his son. Like, he is always so worried about his son's happiness and well-being, and it's just so sweet. So that's a little 2-for-1 with the Harry Potter books. Okay, for number 5, we have Please Ignore Vera Dietz by A.S. King. So this is about a girl named Vera who, her best friend for like ever, named Charlie, has died, and he's also being blamed for this big fire. And she's the only one that actually knows the truth, and she's the only one that can kind of clear his name. And she's afraid to come forward with the information that she has, and she's being haunted pretty much by Charlie, or maybe that's just in her head. It's kind of hard to tell. But at the same time, she's dealing with, her mother has left her and her dad, and her dad has had to raise her on his own, and he hasn't quite recovered from being left. And he is a recovering alcoholic. He stopped drinking when Vera was a young baby, and he's been raising Vera and trying to help her not only deal with her mother leaving, but also with her friend dying. And he sees things in her that really concerns him, because he feels that she's starting to go down the same path that he was on, and he's really doing anything and everything he can to stop her from drinking herself to oblivion. And he even does like family therapy with her, and they have this connection that grows and improves, and they start rebuilding each other, and it's really, really sweet. And he is a dad that, yes, he has flaws, but he loves his daughter, and he wants to do whatever he can to help his daughter. Number 6, Partners in Crime by M. Andrews. Now, this is, I think, like an erotic romance, so not suitable for everybody, but it's such a sweet story. It's also a really short story. I want to say it's a book that's less than 200 pages. And this is about a guy named Hank who is a playboy. And one day his life gets flipped upside down when a woman that he had a relationship with appears at his door with a baby, a girl named Colby, and informs him that this is his child, and gives Colby over to him, and then takes off. She doesn't want to be a mom. She doesn't want anything to do with either of them. She signs over everything to him, and she's out of their lives. And instead of shirking his responsibilities or anything like that, instead he immediately makes a 180 on his life, and he devotes his life to this child, and he tries to be everything he possibly can for her. He is this big, handsome police officer who will also dress up like a princess and have a tea party with his little girl, and it is super sweet. And I fell in love with Hank in this like so fast because he just kind of melted my heart. And as the story goes, he ends up having to look for a nanny because he needs extra help, and he wants her to have his daughter to have a little bit of a girl's influence. And well, one thing leads to another. Him and the nanny fall in love. But his whole life is that little girl. He adores Colby. She hangs the sun and the moon, and he would do anything and everything for her. Number 7, To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, or any of the books in that series. And this father, he is raising 3 Korean daughters. His wife, who is Korean, has passed away, and he's not Korean, and he's left to raise these girls, and he does the absolute best that he can, and he puts them and their wants and their needs above all else. And he essentially, I think, puts his life on hold almost too much for his girls, and he's always there for them, and he even does his best to make sure that they don't forget their Korean heritage even though their mother's passed away. And he keeps her memory alive with them, and it's such a sweet relationship that they all have, and he is always there for his girls. And if you don't know what To All the Boys I've Loved Before is about, it's about a girl named Laura Jean who has throughout her life written letters to boys, love letters to boys, pretty much saying goodbye to them after she's had this crush on them. This is her way of ending a crush. And she's just stored all of these letters in a box, and one day her little sister finds the box, gets mad at her sister, and then mails all these letters out to all these boys. And then Laura Jean has to deal with all of these boys getting these letters, and it's super cute. There's also a Netflix movie. Number 8, and this is one of my favorite dads, I think. That is Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Atticus is such a good dad, and he treats these kids like they are adults, and he values their opinions and their thoughts and their concerns, and he teaches Scout to read as well, and he won't let them feel bad about themselves or beat up on themselves. He shows them what it is to stand up for what you believe, and he holds his head high while he does it, regardless of what comes at him. And I was really inspired by him. I think he is such an amazing dad. Number 9, Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins. In this one, we have 2 good dads, Lola's dads. And they take such an active parenting role in this book, and they're always there for her, giving her advice and listening to her when she needs it, and encouraging her creativity, and also, you know, being the good cop, bad cop when it comes to boyfriends, and requiring the boy that they're not a big fan of to come for weekly brunches, and they get to know him, and they're willing to, you know, accept this boy that they're not a huge fan of for Lola, but there are certain conditions that they require, such as the weekly brunches. And I just thought they were really, really sweet, and they really did whatever they could for Lola to help her with her life choices. And then last but certainly not least, number 10, My Life After Now by Jessica Verdi. This is another book with 2 dads in it, and they love their daughter Lucy so very much. And well, Lucy ends up having one really bad week, And she makes one really stupid mistake. She goes out with some friends to a bar, she gets drunk, and she goes home with some random guy. And because of this one stupid mistake, she ends up with HIV. And her dads, they're crushed for her. They're angry for her. But they are there for her and they support her and they want to make sure she gets not only the medical attention she needs, but the mental therapy and support that she needs, because they encourage her to go to group therapy and all kinds of other things. They want her to have a system and they are there for her every single step of the way. And oh my gosh, when I read this conversation between her and her dads, oh, I just get choked up thinking about it, because it's such an emotional part of this book. And though she made a huge mistake, they also blame themselves too for not being able to protect her from this. And oh, my heart. This book still gets me. So those are my top 10 book dads. Do you have any book dads that you would recommend for a list like this? Comment down below and let me know. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you.